Accountant General's Department. We have struggled with this for some years, and I think that the time has come when we take bold action about decentralizing the Accountant General's departments. The Accountant General in Ghana.
Hi, precious people of Ghana, it's your Nigerian God pleasure bringing you political news in our channel, Ghanatube. In lines of what we've been bringing you all your way, every happenings in Ghana, from the president, the Chief Justice, and everything trending that you ought to know. Our channel is always committed to bring them your way. Please switch.
I was saying ebitimi abua ama se banu sikasem enwo enkontabu anase sikasem enkodwumedia enkoyie no nyina eto echa body semi etuja ewo annual conference of the African Association of Accountants General ewo enkrahase sei eno mpanyichi.
We have the issue of decentralization of Accountant General's departments. We have struggled with this for some years, and I think that the time has come when we take bold action about decentralizing the Accountant General's departments. The Accountant General in Ghana manages the payroll of a nurse in my hometown in Bole. If she reports to work, she doesn't report to work. If she deserts her position, her salary continues to go into her account, because by the time somebody writes a letter to the region sends it to the ministry sends it to the Accountant General, some 3, 4, 5, 6 months have passed. And then every year the Auditor General will flag it and say somebody continued to receive a salary even after they had deserted their post. There's a case of the person who died. I'm sure you heard it in the last Auditor General's report. And the officials of the entity attended his funeral. And yet, after the man died, they attended his funeral. For 36 months, his salary was credited to his account. I mean, that is extreme anyway, but it's an example of what can happen, you know, if we don't decentralize and strengthen the process. And so teachers work in the districts, nurses work in the districts, and they form the bulk of our payroll. I don't see why we can't have district treasuries where their payments are made from, so that if they are not at post, it's easier to be able to determine that. I know that you have this system of validation, and so every month they have to sign to make sure that people are at post. But who really goes around and goes to every single school in my district to count which teacher is there and which teacher is not there? They just validate automatically, and that's how come sometimes we have ghosts, you know, on the payroll. However you exercise them, they resurrect. And so that's something that we need to look at.
Essentially, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, assign editor to be able to say, we share gold board, the modern was say so mobile. A chess say, a soon we partner say, who here say, a baby mine. Oba deja padia wo dia dom ye yanka sanka san ye bedi hu wo mi ye hu adwuma se de be ye mu faso ne ba ye betimi dia ye kuro ye wo say efiri na wo de gold board e ba ye ene foreign exchange e ba ye memu no ekosoro pa ni nyina ka hu bi ne ama ene sika sem no ejina.
We had a free for all where we had people called gold traders, and they could go into the bushes and buy gold from our small scale miners. There are several instances, and I'll give you one example. When I was president, my vice president went to India, and he was talking about the increasing trade between Ghana and India. And he mentioned Ghana's export items to India, one of which was gold. And he mentioned a certain value of that gold. And then lo and behold, the Indian Minister of Commerce also came to give his speech and also talked about the increasing trade between Ghana and India. But the fly in the ointment was that there was a disparity in how much gold was reported to have been exported from Ghana and how much gold was received in India. And so definitely something was not quite right. It just meant that people were under declining the weight and quality of the gold they were taking out. We also found a disparity where a mining company's figures of exported gold was different from the gold received by that exported by that same mining company to Canada. And so this government took the bold decision to establish the gold board and make it illegal to take any gold out of Ghana with stringent penalties. And you won't believe it, the amount of foreign exchange that we get from the gold trade has suddenly jumped so high. It just shows, what greater control of your natural resources can do. And Africa should not be ashamed of it. I mean, the developed countries say they're tired of giving us ODA. Humanitarian assistance has reduced by 40% across the world. And God blessed us with those natural resources. And we must use those natural resources to improve the lives of our people. And so any country that has natural resources in terms of minerals and all that, we must increase our sovereignty in terms of how those natural resources are either exported or insist on value addition for them. And so these are all issues that affect public financial management, and I think that there will be issues that you will be looking at.
Yatwa kasiano so Ghana buy the atu justice abo die we betimi akensi se America buy e ba me eto a wode toto eye koko so a yede ko America buy anas America oman mu no eni kuaye mu eno baye bia eno so yede ko eto bia eye America buy ede eto so o hanchemu edunu no sabre yisa eto ni na ede fu hono oswafo shama no nsem eso eye honorable Samuel okujeto ablakwa any central for ediesia say enochim.
President Trump has decided that Ghanaian cocoa and Ghanaian qualifying agricultural products, including plantains, guava, maize, various peppers, tomatoes, avocados, ginger, all of those agricultural products will now no longer be required to be exported with that 15% tariff. So the 15% tariff has been reversed. It is now 0% on Ghanaian cocoa, and it is not only on the cocoa beans but also on semi-processed cocoa. This development is really positive. It is welcome news for our farmers and agricultural exporters. What this means is that in the cocoa sector alone, if you look at current numbers, we will be raising an additional $60 million. And then if you also consider the other agricultural products, you are talking about almost $100 million. So the conservative estimates we have done, this will raise additional about $150 million for our revenues and a boost for our economy. This development is so timely because remember that our farmers have had a glut. Production has been very good this farming season, and they have been complaining about the lack of market and the lack of buyers. Now, with this new development, you can expect that exporters can move in quickly and then export these products to the United States of America. So the third good news that the people of Ghana can expect in the coming weeks is that we are negotiating on AGOA as well, so that Ghana can have the U.S. market restored for our garment manufacturers. So we welcome this development. It's good for the agri sector, it's good for Ghanaian farmers, and it is very good for agriculture exporters and all the farmers who are worried about markets for their produce, the glut that we have, the high production. Now we have a good market where you can have good returns on your investments. So we want to also encourage medium and small scale exporters and also entrepreneurs to take up this opportunity so that they can have good returns on their investment.
Dr. Dr. Johnson Esiama Enawaye Anrada with the Bank of Ghana ano ene eye monetary policy committee omuhye mu ekoso bank square enawade to just say nyame adom man Ghana se de na ye kan sisi kasem no efefeba ehiniba no wosese de emu tra ne sanani na ene say yesi kasem tutu ye ne hu hye ni na se ye hye ye hu so wonti abo pa ma nema ejina ne naso.
Has demonstrated resilience in 2025, supported by improved confidence, strong operational reforms in the FX market, and robust trade and reserve inflows. These reserves, on the other hand, have risen to over $11 billion, which are equivalent to 4.8 months of imports covered. These are projected to reach $5 billion by the year end. What stands out for this quarter is the broad momentum in economic activity. Growth has been stronger and more diversified than anticipated. We can give you the details. The first half of the year recorded 6.3% GDP growth. This was driven mainly by vibrant expansion in services and agriculture, while overall GDP surged to 7.8%. High frequency indicators that we monitor also echo this trend. That is, the composite index of economic activity suggests an increase of about 9%, and business and consumer sentiments also remain firmly positive. Taken together, these data confirm that the negative output there is narrowing, and the economy is gradually shifting from recovery to expansion. But the turnaround is not a semester. It reflects unsustained fiscal discipline, a conscious but determined monetary stance, and structural policy reforms, particularly the improvements in the efforts operations framework and the rebuilding of our external buffers. The 2026 budget that was just presented reinforces this discipline and places both a job creation at the center of Ghana's next phase of economic transformation. Looking ahead, the growth outlook remains favorable. Staff projections, supported by recent sector indicators, suggest that the economy will maintain a steady expansion path throughout next year, 2026. The strong harvest season, improved food supply dynamics, enhanced FX liquidity, and the easing credit environment, these will provide support for continued growth into next year.
Please do well to like, comment, and follow. Put on notification bell so you get all our news one by one. Thanks, my